Hello everyone, how are you guys doing? Doing good. So today what we are going to talk about is performance, right? Performance needs to be very good. Everybody is performing in their lives. Let it be if you are working in an organization, if you are playing cricket like Virat Kohli, if you are appearing in exams like a student, right? If you are doing business, right? Or if you are into any kind of job, the performance matters the most. Your performance should be up to the mark until unless you will be out of the market, right? That is a very simple phenomenon. Just like that in examinations, your exams should be at least 50 marks. If I talk about the aggregate ones, right? At least that should be 50 marks, otherwise you will be out from the examination. You won't be able to crack the examinations. So just like that, this performance, if I talk about the cricket itself, like Virat Kohli and rest of the players are over there, Rohit Sharma, a lot of young players are over there, so they have to perform very well if they want to win the match, otherwise they will lose. So sir, there is one thing which is very clear, that performance is very important. Or if I'm going to correct this sentence, that improving your performance every time is very important. Okay, so let me give you an example over here, right? First of all, we will go back to our school days, and after that we will talk about that how this performance management is working these days into our corporates. So the very first is like, in my school times, I still remember there was a unit test. There was a unit test which used to take place being like in every month. And after that, there was a term end examinations, right? So term end examinations like term 1, then it's term 2, and then there were annual exams, or you can say final exams, right? So term 1, let us say I have appeared in my term 1, then term 2, then term 3, right? What happens now? Let us say that, let us assume being like that I got 70% over here, right? 74% is my performance. That out of 100, I got on an average being like 70%. In term 2, I got 73%. In my final exams, I got 78%. Right? So this was my phenomenon. This was particularly my mark sheet, or you can say my performance. Okay. Now the question which arises, how we can measure this performance. In our school times, there were certain examinations which were being conducted in order to ascertain that what is the performance of the student. Right? Now the same thing will apply over here in corporates or in our economy as well, right? If I talk about there's a particular company, let it be any company, let it be Reliance, Infosys, Tata, or Hyundai, Honda, or let it be any other company into FMCG, automobile, or any company. That company, if that company is performing, how can one see? Everybody is performing in their lives, right? So if this company is performing, how can one ascertain that their performance is good or not? Their performance is up to the mark or not? How can you ascertain that? How one can determine, how one can find out? The very first point which will come into your mind is financials. So by looking at the financials, we can ascertain, we can find out that yes, the company is performing well or not. Okay, that is a financial analysis. Apart from that, we will talk about the financial analysis as well, but apart from that, anything else? If I tell you this, the financials are improving, but the productivity, the efficiency in manufacturing is poor, but still the company is making good profits. So I cannot say that company is doing well, because if I talk about performance, right? Every company is performing. Every company is performing in market. So this performance has to be managed, right? Has to be managed over a period of time so that you can perform much better. Just like in your school days, you used to have a school, after that you used to go to a particular tuition, right? Just to improve your performance. So that is all about performance management. Performance management stands for managing the performance over a period of time. That is performance management only. Okay. Now how the performance is we are going to manage, because if I can say that let it be like Tata company is doing good, how can I say that? Just by merely looking at the financials? No sir, no, right? So you guys must have heard about cricket, right? If I talk about that India won a particular match, right? So winning a particular match will depend upon three factors: batting, bowling, and field. So if I talk about any company, if we are going to judge its performance, we need to look at their financials, we need to look at their operations, we need to look out that how their human resources department is working, right? Every factor, every department. So it's not like that you cannot say anyone looking at anybody, I cannot say that he is fit. I can only say that he is fit if his each and every body organ is working fine, right? If he if his or her body, each and every body part is performing fine, like they are able to move their hands, they can walk properly, they can do jogging, they can run, right? They can see properly. So every part, every organ has to perform efficiently. Then only I can say that the proper body is functioning properly. The proper body is performing good, right? So apart from that, moving ahead, just like that, if I talk about a particular company, so over there, the performance will be done on a continuous basis. See, everybody is doing their job, right? Everybody is doing their job on a daily basis. Let it be you are in accounts department, let it be you are an admin, you are an HR. So you used to go to your office daily and you used to perform your task over there. So you are performing on daily basis. Okay, sir. So performance is first of all a continuous process. You cannot say that performance can be done only once. No. Virat Kohli, or let it be any other, there must be, just like if I talk about the Prime Minister, Narendra Modi, it's not like that there was a performance. He used to continue his performance over a period of time, doing good works for people, right? A lot of things are over there. If I talk about any hero or heroine, so just like bodybuilders used to have those six-pack abs, they cannot be generated in a night, or maybe a day or a couple of days. That requires continuous performance over a period of time to achieve a success or a desired result. So just like that, the performance needs to be continuous. And the next part is that how we are going to identify our performance. How one is going to identify that whether they are performing good or not. So just like that, over there, the exams are over here. The exams were used to be conducted in our school times. Now, how we are going to ascertain, how we are going to find out that our company is doing good or not, apart from financials I'm talking about, right? So if I talk about, can I say, now there is one statement in your module which talks about that you have employees in your company. Every employee has a particular goal in their mind. So employee is there in your company, and is it right or is it true to say that employee objectives or employee performance contributes? Is it right to say that it contributes to organizational performance? Organizational performance. Is it good? Is it right to say that every employee who is performing in a particular organization, let it be sales, let it be finance, they are working for that organization only. They are working for the organizational performance. They are working so that the organization can achieve their mission, vision, or goals. Is it right? So just like that, I'm working for Tata, right? I am into sales. Let us assume that. And whatever sale which I am making, that is my performance, but I am contributing towards the overall development of Tata, right? Overall development of that Tata company itself. Getting my point? Every person who is working over there in a company, he or she is working, their performance or whatever the work which they are doing, that is straight away attributable to the organization. Yes. Moving ahead. Now let's straight away switch on to your module. I have explained the basic version of what performance management is all about. And just like that, these PIs, performance indicators, how they are working in corporates, that is something which we are going to discuss today as well. A lot of students must be over here in our classroom who are particularly like working somewhere. You guys used to have, every time the people who are working, they know about appraisals. What is appraisals? That every year their salary is going to increase by a specified percentage. That is something which we are going to talk about. That is performance management, or that is performance appraisal. What is the difference between both of them? That is something which we are going to discuss today as well. Moving ahead, sir. This is totally your chapter itself. Whatever I have explained so far, you can mark it over here. It doesn't matter that whether you are going to write in your own language or the language which has been used over here. It's all up to you. Still, I mean, in order to have an efficient classroom, in order to have my performance better. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to mark some few things over here. So performance management is being like a continuous process of identifying, measuring, and developing performance in organization, right? Because every one department, if I talk about every department, is linked with another department. The sales department can perform good only if they have proper production. If they have proper production, then only sales department can perform good. Production department can perform good only if the machinery is working properly. Machinery can only perform good if the repair and maintenance department is working properly. Right? If I talk about the persons who used to look after the maintenance part, right? So they are working properly. If they are getting their salaries from the finance, or let us say accounts department, or let it be like HR department, then only things can work properly. HR department will work properly if accounts department can give them money on time. If employees will be getting salaries on time, definitely, so that is not going to be an issue anymore. So things are like that. Every department somehow is interlinked. Every department is somehow interlinked, and everybody is contributing towards the overall mission, right? Moving ahead. So sir, the next part is continuous process. So performance management should be ongoing. It is a never ending process. You have achieved a particular goal, like, so how many of you are going to gym? People used to go to gym for fitness these days, not for bodybuilding, right? So what they are doing, so there's every day there's a target being like, or every day the people who are into exercise, who are doing exercises, so they have an everyday target. They're not going to make it like that. Let us suppose that I was 83 and I have reduced being like 8 kgs, right? So if I talk about itself, that reducing those 8 kgs took a period of time like 2.5 months. Sir, how you have reduced them? We are going to talk about that later. So things are like that the performance management, it's not like that in the very first day. If you are going to start today, you are going to achieve your results within the very next day. The six-pack abs, those cannot be developed during the night itself, right? So just like that, what we are going to do, we are going to have some small targets. This is our goal. This is our goal. So in order to achieve this goal, we are going to contribute daily. We are going to contribute daily. We are going to have certain short-term goals, just like, I mean, running for half an hour daily basis, or doing cycling for like 10 kilometers, right? So that is my final goal is this. But what I am doing on daily basis, how much I am performing on daily basis, that matters the most. Okay, got it? Because it's all about consistency. It's not like that if I talk about any subject, you are going to study just one day before examination and you are going to crack your exams. It is not like that. So what you are going to do, you are going to contribute like 2 hours daily basis, 2 hours, 2 hours, 2 hours, 2 hours. So that will be very easy to achieve your goals, right? So it is totally a never ending process, right? It's all about that. Yes, you are managing your performance on daily basis. Let it be like that there is any day like you have Sunday and rest of the things, but still you are managing those things. Performance management is an ongoing process. Apart from that, your performance should be linked to, right, what the managers, if I talk about a particular manager of any department, let it be sales department. So sales department manager, what he is going to ensure that the people who are working in sales department, he is going to link the organizational objectives, or you can say goals, to the individual goals. Okay, how that will be done? So let us suppose that the sales department manager, he got like a target of getting 10 crore rupees sales, right, for per month, or let it be like 100 crore rupees of sales per month. After that, what he is going to do, he is going to set targets of every employee, set target of employees, and give them good incentives. So let us suppose he has 100 employees, so he is going to tell everybody that everybody has to sell at least 1 crore rupees of sale this month, 1 crore per month to every employee. So what he has done, he has aligned employee activities in the organizational goal. So what they have done, in order to get a competitive advantage, in order to ensure that yes, employee performance is working along with the organization performance. We can only achieve our objectives if employees are working within the same link, within the same direction. Okay. So performance management therefore creates a direct link between the employee performance and organizational goals, right? And so that the employee's contribution to the organization explicit. Straight away, see everybody, because everybody is working for the organization only. Moving ahead, sir. Moving ahead, let's talk about the next part. That so how this performance is going to be managed, how we are going to see at this point of time. If I talk about today, the organizations are not dependent upon machinery. Every organization is dependent upon their intangible assets. Let it be like goodwill. So they are all dependent upon that. Yes, once we are going to gain a particular reputation in market, just like Apple or just like Patanjali, right? So if they are going to have this, they have built it such a value. That is that value. If Patanjali is going to tell you that my goodwill value is 20,000 crore rupees, that is goodwill is intangible, sir. But it's all about developing that intangible asset or adding value towards intangible asset. Okay. Right. Moving ahead. So the next part is all about that performance management, how we are going, what we are going to do, so that if we are going to ensure, if we have given target to everybody, or let it be like that we are talking about 100 crore rupees of sale per month, right? This month is the target which has been given by the top level management. So what we are going to do, we are going to check this at the month end or not? No, sir. We are going to check it at like in every week or on an everyday basis. If we have this much of a target, we are going to check this. We are going to check that whether our performance is that much adequate enough to achieve this goal or not. So for that, what you are going to do, you are going to verify those things at a particular regular interval like that. Every week you are going to have a particular meeting. So just like that, in a particular week, you have achieved sales of 30 crore rupees. That's great. In the next week, you were able to achieve 20 crore rupees. That's even good. But why this has been increased to 20? You are still able, it's been like 14 days, you will be able to achieve your 100 crore rupees of sale. That's really good. But why this has been increased? There should be definitely. So whenever this assessment is going to take place, that means you are trying to identify, right? You are trying to identify, you are trying to measure your performance in terms of organizational goals. That this was our target, and this far, up to this mark we have achieved so far. Just like that, if I talk about your syllabus is being like 550 pages, how many pages you have completed? So that is again that you are identifying or you are measuring your performance. Moving ahead, talking about the next part. So this is the proper definition of performance management, is the process of identifying, measuring, managing, and developing the performance of human resource in an organization, right? That how the human resource in your organization is performed. Okay. How well the employees can perform. How they can, if anybody has been given a particular target, how they can achieve that target. So it's all about that employees, or let it be like individuals who are working in your organization, they need to give their 100%. Moving ahead, talking about the next part. So what will happen once you are going to join a job, right? If a lot of people must be working over here, or seems to be like a lot of people must be in internships. So there will be a term being like that every year a part of your salary, or let it be your salary, is going to increase by a specified percentage, depending upon what was your performance during the year. So let it be like, just like I still remember when I was in foundation, right? After that, my performance was good. I successfully passed my exams. I was then into my executives, right? After that, I went into my finance. So this was all about that how if my performance was up to the mark, I was promoted again. So just like that, let it be by the time I was working. So let us say, for example, my salary was like 46,000 rupees. 46,000 rupees per month. By the time I was working. After that, in the next year, I got my salary hike, and my salary was 52,000 per month. So what is this? This is particularly an appraisal, or you can say a hike or an increase, which has been given to you looking at the performance, looking at your performance in the specified time period. So this is performance appraisal. This is not performance management. Right, this is performance appraisal. So just like we have decided that yes, employees, if he or she has done this much of a work, if they have achieved their target so far, then we are going to give them 10%. Just like in examinations, the exams are going to be there for 100 marks. The students, for them, there is going to be, every question is actually just like a performance indicator. Just like if there are going to be 5 questions, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, right? For every question you will be awarded. And at the end, we are going to check how much marks you have achieved. So just like that, there are going to be certain performance indicators. And at the end, we are going to check that whether the target which you have achieved over here is up to the mark or not. If that has been achieved, great. Your salary will be hiked, your amount will be increased. If that's not, then what? It's okay. It's okay. If that's not being like 70, let it be like it should be 60, 50 or 45, let it be anything else, right? It's not like that if you have written over there an examination, if you are unable to get 5 on 5, it's not like that the examiner is going to give straight away 0. It's not like that, right? So he will mark being like 3, 4, 4.5, 3.5, depending upon that how you have answered your questions. Moving ahead, okay, so the performance management and the performance appraisal, they are used a lot of times onto the same, they are used being like interchangeably, but that is not correct. That is not correct. Performance appraisal is just a very small part of performance management. Performance appraisal is straight away being like that. Okay, so apart from that, still we are going to mark few more things over here. Performance management is a comprehensive, continuous and flexible approach to the management of organization, teams and individual, which involves the maximum amount of dialogue between those are concerned. So if I talk about the performance management, see, that is the performance management is all about the discussion between the people who are charged with governance itself. That means the people who are over there at the top management level, they are going to decide that how we are going to manage our performances this time. So every time if I talk about any corporate, so what they used to do, they used to revise their targets, they used to fix, just like if in your home, in your house, the person who is looking after house as well, most probably our mother. So what she is going to do, she is going to decide a budget for each and every task. Let it be like that, it can be for household, it can be for that milk, it can be for that rest of the grocery parts, right? So I mean, they're going to decide a budget for that. So that is all about fixing those budgets. So just like that, the top management level, they are going to decide upon this performance management by having a conversation. Those two top level people are going to decide. And if I talk about the performance appraisal, the appraisal will be done from everybody, for everybody. Let it be like from the person who is working on gate and till the person who is working at a particular managerial position. So that will be straight away conveyed by the top level management, that how much salary hike, how much increment, or let it be appraisal we can give this year. So what they are going to do, that every person, let it be like there is one person named who is manager, and there are 3 people who are working under him. So how this appraisal system is going to work, let it be like these 3 people are A, B and C. So at the time of performance appraisal, first of all, what they are going to do, they are going to submit their forms to the manager, right? So what they are going to submit their, what is the name of that form? I'm unable to recall that form name. There must be a form name over there. Maybe, okay, if I talk about the form, must be named as self-appraisal form. So self-appraisal form, these employees, right, what they are going to mention over there, that what so far during the year, what we have achieved. So they are going to mention their achievements, that what we have achieved so far. And after that, these employees are going to submit this to their manager. That said, this is our accomplishments, these are our achievements so far, what we have achieved in the previous year, what are the works which we have done. Okay, and after that the manager is going to decide, right? Apart from that, if I talk about the reality itself, they can also, there must be a column being like that, how much hike you are expecting, right? So if I talk about, I used to mention over there, as much as you can give. So I mean, if it's all about money, is all about that is the same thing. Meaning like if you have 10,000, they will be less. At a point of time, you will find it that yes, it's less. At a point of time, if you start earning like 50,000, that will be less. At a point of time, you reach like 2 lakh rupees per month, that will be again you will find it that they are very few. Yeah, I cannot move with them. I mean, they are very few. I'm unable to save anything, right? So it's just like that. So, but don't do this. Don't do this. That was just for fun. So self-appraisal form, in this they are going to mention their achievements. The manager is going to decide that how much appraisal should be given to these employees depending upon their performance, depending upon the targets which they have achieved so far, and along with them their responsibilities which have been assigned. So that is about the manager is going to decide for all of them. Their manager is going to decide. So the approach follows from the top to the bottom, right? So that's why it said top down approach, because the top level people, the person who is going over there at a senior position, they are going to decide that how much appraisal should be given. Sir, appraisal depends upon a particular industry, but you can assume it being like 10%. If during the COVID times it was being reduced to like 5 to 6%, but it's okay, we can assume it being like 10%. Moving ahead, so this is generally, if I talk about performance appraisal, top down assessment, right? And this is done on annual basis. Performance appraisal will be done on annual basis. If I talk about the performance management, right, we are doing it on daily basis. Every day we are studying like 2 hours, 3 hours. Every day the production is being going on in a particular company, let it be like Amul or Mother Dairy, right? Every day you are studying, every day you are contributing. So we are going to have a continuous review. Over there, the review can be there on an annual basis. That is not going to be a problem. But in performance management, you need to have your eye upon each and everything. Just like the milk is boiling in your kitchen in evening, right? So you need to look at over there continuously. Continuous review should be over there, because at any point of time it can flow out, right? So just like that, the performance management needs to be reviewed. Sir, if I talk about the part, the performance appraisal, so how we are going to find out that whether this employee is eligible for 10%, is eligible for 8%, 7%? That is straight away owned by the HR department too. So what they are going to do, they are going to prepare a questionnaire. That questionnaire, on the basis of that questionnaire, it will include certain performance indicators. The boss is going to mark over there that yes, he was cooperative. He was able to follow my commands. Yes. Yeah. After that, he was able to work up to the mark. What are his achievements so far? So they are going to mention his achievements. That yes, these are so far what he has achieved. So whatever he has written into the self-appraisal form, that stands corrected or not? Yes. Right. Or I mean, just like that, in our school we used to have our report card. So just like that, this on the same phenomena, there were certain ratings as per each and every subject. So on that basis, performance appraisal takes place, right? And over here in performance management, the ratings are less common. The ratings are not going to matter over here. What is going to matter, that what is your performance? We are going to just review, those formal reviews are going to be there on the basis of the performance which you have achieved. Okay. So ratings are going to be there in performance appraisal, but ratings are not very much emphasized in performance management. Apart from that, sir, what is this monolithic system? Monolithic system is a traditional system where each and everything is embedded into a single output. So what performance appraisal is all about, that HR department has prepared certain performance indicators, and what they will be looking forward, that everybody in the organization, let it be a guard, so let it be a security guard, or let it be a person who is supervisor, who is clerk, the person who is assistant manager. So they are going to evaluate each and everybody onto a single output platform. That's not correct, but it's okay. What is written into our academic point of view, we are going to cover that only. So that is something that on the basis of that single output, we are going to cover each other. So that is monolithic system. Whereas if I talk about the performance management, that is a flexible process, because every time we used to have different subjects. In every subject, the practical subject, the markings are going to be different. The theoretical subject, the markings are going to be different. In OMR, the phenomena of taking papers is different, right? In true and false, it's different. So it is straight away said as a flexible process. Over here, if I talk about, so they straight away focus on the objectives. That this was our objective. Were you successful in achieving that objective or not? You have been given 4 companies in order to check out the compliances. Were the compliances successful? hope they are, I mean, looking after that whether there are any kind of non-compliances or not, that those objectives were quantified or not. And over here, if I talk about the performance management, they focus upon the values and behaviors. Although they focus on objectives as well, but the prime focus is on values and the behaviors itself. So this is linked to payment, linked to pay, because every time if I talk about an employee, they used to look after that. Yes, now we will be getting our salary hikes. And this is going to be the time when we are going to criticize the people who are working in HR departments every time. So moving ahead, and this is less likely to be directed linked to pay. We are just going to find out that whether we are properly working as per the required standards or not. Just like we have a particular machinery, that whether we are working effectively, that machinery is working effectively or not. That is all about the performance management. If employees are over here, employees are coming for like 8 hours, so for how much hours they are working, that is how you are going to measure their performance, and that cannot be counted each and every time in terms of payment. Right? And over here, it is a complex paperwork system. This is properly a paperwork system. As I told you, the people who are working on the employee level, they are going to submit their self-appraisal forms to the boss, their manager, and after that, that manager is going to decide using a proper system of ratings. He's going to decide which employee is eligible, or you can say which employee deserves how much of appraisal. After that, the documentation kept at minimum. That in performance management, the documentation is very minimum. Apart from that, this is straight away owned by the HR department. HR department is the one who used to take care of those appraisals every time. So sir, how they are going to take care? See, if I talk about the reality itself, that HR department will be given like a budget. Every department is given a budget at the beginning of the year, at the commencement of the year, that this is the expenditure which you have to do throughout your year. So that HR department is going to decide that if we are going to make appraisals, how much appraisals can be there. So they are going to fix a part that this is going to be maximum our salary hike, because it's not like that. They have to retain money also. They have to go through with the total process, being like they have to, spend their year as well. It's not like that spending everything on the birthday party and regretting later on. So after that, this is owned by the line managers. So if I talk about any person who is head of that particular department, they are going to own that part. They are going to own that part. They will be responsible, accountable for their part itself. So this is owned by the line managers. Now, just one more example I'm sharing with you. Just let me check. There is going to be one in part. Sir, what does it mean by the line managers? I'm going to explain this. Just give me some time. We are going to cover one part over here, which is going to be like, for an example, that this is going to be a situation and which people are going to be a part of this situation. Apart from that, so next is performance management. Performance management, what does it mean? It straight away focuses on results. That what is your result? At the end, everybody cares about results only. Right? Appraisal is being like, sir, why appraisal is a short time? Because let us say that we have set a goal. I have set a goal being like that I want to be the biggest teacher in India ever. Right? So the goal cannot be achieved in a short duration of time. Let it be like I have achieved this goal for 2030. Right? For this point of time, this is going to be my long-term goal. For this, I'm going to manage my performance every time. That whether I'm doing up to the mark, or not. Right? Apart from that, now what we are going to do next, I'm going to have my appraisals every year. Starting from the year 2020, we are going to appraise it every year, so that we can be number one in the year 2030. Getting my point? Or we can, apart from that, moving ahead. Okay. So it's all about, that means producing results. Yes. It's not about that I'm busy all the time. It does not mean that I'm productive. So it's not like that if you are talking about, sir, I used to study being like 12 hours per day. So, and apart from that, what you are doing along with my classroom, you are using your mobile phones. So that is not indicating that yes, you are busy, but you are not productive at that point of view. Using those 12 hours, apart from that, how much is your effective time of study? That matters the most. Okay, if you are sitting being like for 3 to 4 hours and you are being productive over there, that's being very good as compared to sitting for 12 hours and getting 4 hours of effective study. Okay, so that is performance management. We are going to just focus upon the results which are being produced. Okay. Over here, it may look like that yes, employees are coming for 12 hours. That is very productive, very productive. That is, they're performing good. They are performing good. No, no, no. But what are the results in contrast? Okay. Moving ahead, that yes, in order to, look after that, the potential of employees that matters as well, right? Apart from that, moving ahead, let's talk about the next part, performance planning, performance management cycle. Apart from that, okay, we are going to mark few more things over here. The performance management directs and leads the business to overall achievement with the assessment of employees' effectiveness in implementation of performance appraisals at regular intervals. See, uh, one more question came in my mind, that why we have those appraisals every year, why we are going to have these appraisals every year. If appraisals are over there, so that the assessment of employees, in order to boost them up, that yes, you can perform better, you can perform better. If you, it's all about, see, greediness. If somebody is giving me like 50,000, he is giving me now 55, he will tell you that no, no worries man, I will give you 65,000 next year. I will start working much harder, man. I will start working much better. That next year I will be getting 65,000. So that is all about the assessment of employees' effectiveness. That how much your employee is effective. If, sir, in appraisals, is it possible that the salary is going to decrease? No, that is not going to it's not going to be like that. Salaries are never decreased. Just the appraisals, they can be even a lot of times they are not satisfied. They're not, because employee expectations are very much high. Moving ahead, talking about the first part, if I talk about the performance management, right? So the very first and the most crucial part in my observation is planning. So if you are going to decide, being like, just like you got this subject, right? And you have achieved, you made it like within the next 30 days, I'm going to complete my subject. So what is this? If you are starting today and you have made it like within the next 30 days, I'm going to complete my subject. This is going to be the most crucial part, because this is your plan, right? This is your planning. So just like that, the employees which are over there, they have a concerned employer, or you can say, let it be like appraiser. Let it not be like manager every time, appraiser or reviewer, right? So after that, what is going to be over there? The appraiser is going to be, let it be like your year has been concluded, the year is over now you will be getting the fresh targets, because just like that, I was an executive or inter, by that time the targets were different, the subjects were different. Now the subjects are different, the targets are different. So at this point of time, at end of year, now the appraiser or the reviewer, what he or she is going to do, so they are going to decide new targets plus new key performance areas. These are going to be our new key performance area. Whatever they have, achieved, let it be like in the past year. The past year was 2015, 2016, and now what they are going to have in 2016-17, they are going to have new targets and new KPIs, key performance indicators. That will be straight away finalize, that what has taken place, what the mutually what has been decided between the reporting officer. Let it be like every time there's an employee, and who is the reporting officer, that will be decided between the mutual agreement between both of them. Okay, and what is this KPA or key performance indicator? BSC, balanced scorecard. Have you heard about this balanced scorecard? You must have heard about this. It's very simple. See, just like that, you are going to appear for various practice papers once you are done with this subject, right? So over there, you are going to appear in a particular practice paper, and after that, you are going to send it to us. Just for example, you are going to send it to us, and after that, we are going to identify this is your weakness. So balanced scorecard is all about that kind of an approach, where various internal business functions are being evaluated, regulating their external outcomes, what you have written so far and what kind of result you will be getting. That is all about that balanced scorecard approach, prioritizing various operations so that you can achieve your objectives or goals early. So I mean, okay, sir, for every person is everybody is going to have a different target, or same target is going to be there for every employee? No, no. Targets are decided by the concerned reporting officer. That is the right term. So targets are decided by the concerned reporting officer, because he knows that for every department things are going to be different. Finance department, it is going to be like that, yes, we are going to provide finance on time. This time the finance which is made available to the company earlier was at 2%, now this should be at least at 1.5%. The total expenditure for the finance was decided like that, or the fluctuations in the forex which have taken so far will be reduced to 50% in the next year. This is our target, right? For sales, it is going to be like the sales, that means the maximum sales which they can achieve, that will be decided by the reporting officer. If I talk about the secretarial or the legal department, they are going to decide that this time in this year there should not be any non-compliances. So every time this performance planning is going to be finalized after a mutual agreement between the reporting officer and the employee itself. I know I'm explaining too much over here, but don't worry, once we are going to move on to the next parts or the practical portion, these explanations are going to decrease. Okay, moving ahead, sir. The next example which we are going to have, yes, I was waiting for this example. So there's a company over here which is going to excavate, that iron ore. So there's a company named as Iron Ore Company. So what they are going to do, they are going to excavate iron ore. They are going to they are going to just crush them, wash the part of it. Now there are particularly three grades, right? Okay, three grades, or there must be two grades. Two grades must be there. See, so let me draw it over here. So first their work is like digging iron ores. That means excavating, digging iron ore. After that, what they are going to do, they are going to crush the sizes, such iron ores which are available in a very huge sizes. They are going to crush such oversized lumps of iron ores, and they are going to make them in a proper size which is made available, which can be easily sold in market. Now they are going to wash. The part which is being washed is available at a higher grade. That means a high grade iron ore. And the parts which are going to remain over there as unwashed, this is going to be they can also sell them, but this is going to be available at a lower grade. This is going to be a low grade product, just like the company manufactures two products. Now if I talk about this company, right, if I talk about this company, they have, every time they are going to have a different or a distinct customer. The group of customers for a washed product is going to be different. The group of products, or the group of customers, sorry, for the unwashed products, that is going to be different. Okay, still the company has a lot of machineries. They have drills, they have excavators, they have loaders. Because if I talk about, they have digged an iron ore, and that if that is oversized, what they are going to do, they are going to transport that over to a particular machinery where that huge iron ore is going to be converted into small sizes. Right, moving ahead, after that, if I talk about this wash, for this they must be having a washing plant, right? And after that, they are going to have that washing plant, and after that, that must be moved on to the stockyard. How that is moved, there must be a proper conveyor system, so that the part can be transmitted from the washing part to the straight away the inventory, or to the stockyard. So what we are going to do, what are going to be the KPIs, key performance indicators? So as I have mentioned earlier as well, that this part, the performance management, is to be done by the top level management only. It is not going to be a top down approach. Top down approach is only for performance appraisal. This performance indicators are to be decided by the top level. That means the managing director of the company. So the question may arise in examination that you are over there as a managing director of an iron ore company. What are going to be the various KPIs? It's okay, I can understand this is the very first question. We may need to run our mind and think about it. So what you are going to do, see, every time there are going to be certain points which you can include in your examinations, and they are most common. Right, just like if I talk about the output man shift, point number B, point number C, I will tell you every time that there are certain points. If you do have any kind of confusion in examination, you can write these kind of points. They are common for every situation which will be given in examination. So what we are going to decide, see, for a managing director is not going to take care of each and every department. What he is going to do, he is going to have like managers in each and every department. Those managers are going to take care of these parts. So the very first is grade wise production of iron ore. That means high grade and low grade. The productions, how much productions were over there in the previous year and how much production is going to be there in this year. Every time the production department looks after this. Yes. Every time the production department is going to look after this. So after that, output per man shift. If a person is working over there in your factory, how much output he is able to achieve, how much output he can produce, right? After that, equipment utilization. So just like that, how many of you must be having a printer at their homes, but how much that printer you are using? Very rarely. If I talk about myself, my office printer is working fine, but the printer which is over there at my home, that is working like next to nil. So the equipment utilization percentage is being like, if I talk about the life is 10 years, I'm hardly going to use it for like 2 months. So just like that, equipment utilization. And the next is cost per ton each grade for the year. If we have manufactured like washed iron ores per ton in the previous year was going to be cost like 15,000 rupees. How much that is going to cost in this year, because we have to mold our selling price accordingly, right? Apart from that, okay, so if I talk about the very first part, right? So the very first part, okay, see, so if I talk about in general, all these 4 parts will be, if you are confused anyhow in examination, you can straight away write general manager over there. General manager, just straight away write over there, general manager is going to decide these 4 parts. Okay, and if I talk about this output, this equipment utilization part, and if you want things to be specific, then these 2 things, that means output per man shift and the equipment utilization percentage, that will be given by the equipment manager. The equipment manager particularly looks after the outputs. That means if a person is working upon a particular machinery, how much output he is going to give like for every hour or during the day. Equipment utilization percentage, this is straight away given by the supervisor, who is the supervisor of those machineries. He can tell you that over a period of like 24 hours, right, during the day, how much the outputs can be produced. So the supervisor of those machineries can tell you exactly about the equipment utilization. Now, if I talk about the next part, which is all about like average sales revenue, how much sales revenue we can generate per ton for each grade for the year. That if, let us say, if we were selling this high grade for like 20,000 per ton in the last year, and low grade for like 12,000 in the last year, so how much this was our selling price in the last year, how much is going to be our selling price in this year, right? So this is going to be like average sales revenue. Okay, in the last year, let us suppose that you got like 2 million tons of order last year. 2 millions of high grade and 8 millions of low grade. This was your order percentage in the last year. Okay. How much we were able to fulfill, how much orders were fulfilled, and how much, let us say that if the orders which we have received in the year, we were able to fulfill 80% in high grade and 85% in low grade. Why this deficiency was over there? Why we were unable to fulfill rest 20% of the orders? What is the problem? I mean, how much is your equipment utilization, whether you have the infrastructure is proper or not, the staff is proper or not. What is the reason behind that? Maybe we are not getting raw materials on time. There may be any reason why this fulfillment is not proper, why we are unable to deliver, right? Order fulfillment for sales and purchase. The same part lies for your inventory as well, because until and unless your inventory for inputs I'm talking about, because if you are unable to have your inventories, if your inventories are not proper, so let me tell you, my dear students, we are unable to produce things on time. If the finished products cannot be produced on time, definitely there is going to be a lag. The customers are not going to be happy, and that can result in losses at a future point of time. Okay. After that, there must be an inventory ceiling for iron ore, spares and consumables. For each and every product, there must be a inventory ceiling. It should not be like that you have like, okay, we have like iron ore is what you need, right? You need machineries, mobile equipments, you need drills, excavators, loaders. You have hundreds of drills, hundreds of excavators. But when it comes to dozers and you can say stationary crusher, right, and dumpers, you have hardly 10 of them. So just like that, you need to maintain a maximum ceiling limit for each and every inventory. It should not be like that you have excess of inventory every time. The reorder level, you must have heard about that reorder level. The reorder level should be matched in this sense that every time whenever you need any kind of inventory, the order can be placed and the same can be delivered on time. Just like if I talk about my factory itself, so we used to place an order, right? We know that the products that the input will be made available within 3 days, right? So we used to place that order 3 days in advance, just because, and we used to have that 5 days of our backup. Maybe due to any reason that shipment may take time. So just like that, inventory ceiling, there must be a backup for each and everything. And please do note, I'm talking about the maximum quantity, not the minimum quantity over here. You need to have at least, depending upon if you have good, I mean, good space for inventory, you can have a minimum that this much should be inventory which is available all the time with us. Apart from that, ceiling value for debtors and creditors. If I talk about my debtors, maximum how much money can be given to them, maximum how much sales can be given, how much sales can be made on credit, right? For every debtor, there should be a limit. If I talk about the creditor from which the money is taken, right, we are not going to have any, the, if you are going to have an ample amount of time over there, let it be like if you are giving 30 days of credit time to your debtors and your creditors are giving you 90 days of credit time period. That's great, sir. That's great. I'll be using the creditors money all the time to pay off. I'll be using those creditors money now. That will be made available without any cost. So they have given me 90 days of time period. Great, very nice. I'll be using their money all the time. So ceiling value of debtors and creditors. Now, if I talk about this average sales revenue and the inventory ceiling part, these three things, this will be straight away decided by the general manager marketing. This is not correct, although the order fulfillment, it's okay. Average sales revenue, it's okay. They can decide the price depending upon the market. But inventory ceiling must be there with production. I don't know what they are saying, so it's okay. Apart from that, the ceiling value of debtors and creditors. How much compliances are required to be made when it comes to payment of dues? If I talk about the various filings are required over there. So how much non-compliances over there? How much cases are pending against the company? If I talk about the payment of bonus to employees, the ESI provisions or the employee provident fund provisions, the company was able to achieve each and everything properly. Were there any kind of, like non-compliances? You have not fulfilled the compliances or you have not filed the returns on time, but was there anything like that? Ceiling value on debtors and creditors, these two parts are required to be decided by the general manager of finance. These two parts lie on the part of finance, that the compliances, or if I talk about very specific, compliances lie on the part of secretarial or legal department. Ceiling value is to be decided by finance. Inventory, in my opinion, must be decided by the production department. After that, the time limits for resolving complaint of customers, right? If you can, everybody, if I talk about network issue, that is a consistent issue which remains over there all the time. So let us suppose that we got a complaint being like, just if I talk about my organization only, I have a small firm. So if we get any kind of customer complaint, the same will be resolved within 24 hours. If that is not resolved, that will be straight away escalated to my email address. If that is not resolved within 24 hours. Meanwhile, if I'm not available, then we used to take like 48 hours maximum. If that once that is escalated to me, that means the student will be getting directly my contact number. He can access anytime, for any queries. So that will be straight away escalated. That means the person who is taking care of customer care, that means the student care, his job will be in danger. So just like that, how many complaints we used to have in the year, in the starting of the year, and during the year, how many complaints we have resolved at the end of the year, just like our closing stock, how many complaints we have. So this part is again what your academic profile says is to be decided by the finance manager. But that's again, I don't think so. It's correct. That it's correct. It must be taken up by your stakeholder relationship or the customer relationship department. If you have any of such departments, if you don't have, it's okay. The finance can take care of this. But finance people must not be good at taking care of the customer complaints. For them, you need a specific department, customer relationship, just like every company has a customer care, just like that. Apart from that, let us suppose that the company is operating in a specific area. Let it be like Delhi, Mumbai, Bangalore. Now, what are the various areas where the new areas, because it's all about, taking that iron ore. The iron ore is not like that it is made available in abundance. What are the various new areas which can be explored for excavating that iron ore? Development of mining in new areas with lease. Who is going to decide that? Again, they are not sure. So what they are going to decide that yes, we are going to have these given to, again, finance people. Operations is going to be the right word for this. In my opinion, that should be taken up by the production or the operations. They must be having the appropriate knowledge that from where we are going to take and how much expenditure will be taken care of. Finance has nothing to do with that. Anyways, my dear students, now please note down that in case any question is going to be there, any question, let it be like for any scenario, for any question, if that comes in examination, there are certain points which can be written every time. The heading can be different, the part can be different, you can present it in a different way. But so the very first is the production. How much production was there in the previous year? How much we are going to have it next time? Output man hours. How much number of hours were there previous year in the previous year, and how much number of hours per unit is going to be there? Equipment utilization percent and cost per ton. That means your cost price is what we are going to have it all the time. After that, average sales revenue. I'm talking about the turnover in simple terms. What was your turnover last year and how much turnover we can expect this year? Apart from that, order fulfillment percentage can be again applied. Inventory ceiling, right? The part which I'm marking only, you can use this much only. Do not write the complete sentences, please. You are in finals. I cannot assume that you are going to do such childish mistakes. So inventory ceiling for the inputs. Right, ceiling value of the debtors and creditors can be used straight away. Apart from that, statutory compliances, because every company on every organization there are certain laws which are made applicable and they have to fulfill them anyhow. Apart from that, the time limits for resolving those complaints and new areas of expansion. These are the points which you can note down at the back of your register, and from there you can note down each and everything. From there, if I talk about any question which is going to be there and that asks for KPIs, key performance indicators, you can write a one-line sentence for each and every these points. Okay, sir, do I need to write over there that who is responsible for this part? No, exclusively not. Right? Exclusively not mentioned, not required of them. Apart from that, if I talk about the next part, okay, now the very first question which arises in my mind, I was expecting though that you are going to have this question. So just like that, we are going to have this part. We are going to have this part over here. Right, this is going to be key performance indicator for this. There are certain managers, but who is going to ensure that whether these KPIs are being implemented? Who is going to ensure the implementation of KPIs, key performance indicators? Yes, please, anybody? General manager, not managing director. General manager, human resource. He's going to decide that in every department the performance indicators which are being given, they are emphasized and everybody is working as per those performance indicators so that we can achieve our organizational goals on time. Moving ahead, if I talk about this part only, this is what we have. The same has been explained on the previous sheet as well. You can note it down. Moving ahead, if I talk about now, we have very few points which are left over there. So the next is performance appraisal and reviewing the same. The appraisals, we know that the appraisals are taking place only once in a year, but from academic perspective and in reality, maybe in a lot of companies, the appraisals are performed generally twice in a year. In spite of having been a single appraisal in the year, what they are going to do, they are going to have appraisals on a half yearly basis. That means there is going to be one mid review and there is going to be one annual review. Okay, right? Annual review will take place particularly at the end of the financial year. In this process, what will happen particularly? So as I have explained you guys about the self-appraisal form will be filled up by the appraisee or the employee. He's going to fill up that self-appraisal form, and after that, he's going to mention each and every part which he has achieved, the goals which he has completed over a period of time. Right after that, the appraiser, or you can say his manager, he's going to give the final ratings that yes, these points are achieved, and on 10 I'll give you this, just like the markings are given in for every question in examinations. So that will be given. After that, the review will be just like that you must have seen in the various kind of web series. So the employer and employee are going to sit together along with one person of HR department. What they are going to do, they are going to have an active participation between both of them, that telling them that this is your weakness. We used to call it as counseling. So just like that, let me tell you, if you have solved a particular question paper and you have sent it to us, after that we are going to have a good discussion that this is going to be your loophole, this is your weakness, there you are performing good, these are the parts which needs utmost attention from your end. What is that? That is all about the feedback which we are going to give you. Right? Just like the feedback you guys can also share. Sir, you are not very much elaborative, right? Right? Don't stick to the point, anything. So just like that, the feedback and counseling is very important for performance management. Until unless you are unable to figure out that what is important for you or what is not, that is going to create a problem. Right? So over here, the employee will come to know about the areas of improvement. Just like when it comes to examination, there are certain questions which we are unable to answer properly. We are unable to get, being like we were, let us say I was expecting 6 marks, but I got 3. Why? Because there I need to focus. I need someone who can make me aware of that particular provision and mark that as my area of improvement. For every student, there are certain chapters where he or she needs improvements. Just like that. If an employee is lagging somehow to achieve an expected level of performance. Let us say that I was expecting that you are going to achieve like 90 marks in SPM and BV. So you got like 55. So we are going to figure out that why you got 55. Sir, I am happy, at least I have passed my examinations. Now I need not to look after 90 marks. Getting 90 marks is going to be like that you are going to be famous all over India. So unless you are going to have a proper feedback on this, right? You can say, or until the proper training is going to be there. So you need to ensure that yes, SPM BV. So you scored being like 55. There should be certain areas where the training needs to be given, the proper guidance needs to be given, so that you can achieve 90 marks next time. Okay, reviewing and rewarding the good performance, just like if a lot of organizations do have employee of the year awards. Employee of the year, yes, just like there was a movie being like student of the year too, right? Just like it was like that. So next is rewarding good performance. That means if any person has done a very good work, any employee has contributed very nice, in order to boost them up, in order to motivate them, right? If you are going to recognize that person publicly, recognize a particular employee publicly, it is very simple. It is going to help them for motivation. It will be like a self-esteem, and other people, they are going to have it like, oh my god, he's getting 51 lakh rupees as a reward. Oh my god, 51 lakh rupees. I know how much they are going to get. They are going to give us just a sipper. It's okay, but it's all about getting employee of the year award, right? Just like we used to have being like YouTuber of the year, right? So just like that. So that's who is YouTuber of the year. I don't know. Must be Gary Minathi. Yes. So that is any contribution which is made by the organization. That means he or she is going to be motivated now. It will help them to boost up their self-esteem. And apart from that, if there is any kind of a deadline, right? What has happened? Let us assume that the year has ended. Now, just 2 more minutes, my dear students. Now the year has ended. The year has been concluded. Now, what will be over there for every employee? For every employee, what will be done? That he will be given new target along with new deadline, and he is assigned with that part only. Okay, so sir, who is going to do this? If I talk about the exact word must be appraiser, or let it be his or her boss, whosoever is going to be like manager or VP, depending upon the position. The person who has appraised them, the person who has given them appraisal is going to set new deadlines and new target for them. The same part is written over here. You can read it if you want. The next is potential appraisal. Now, what does it mean by potential appraisal? So, potential appraisal means the perfect example which can be over here is like movement of employees from one department to another. I didn't get your point. So just like that, let me tell you about my corporate experience. I'm based in Delhi, and I was working in Gurgaon. Right? As you guys know that I am a company secretary. So I was working in Gurgaon, and I was looking after preferably for the compliances of 5 companies, in which 2 were public and one was listed. Sir, you were taking care of that on your own. No, I had a team earlier. Now I'm totally into teaching as well. So what the guys have done, that they have scheduled my tour for our Bangalore office. They told us that yes, you are going to visit Bangalore in the next week. Okay, they send me to Gujarat as well. So why they are doing this? Why they are sending me to Gujarat? Why they are sending me to Bangalore? Why they are sending me to their plant and rest of the associate or joint venture companies? Yes, why? To appraise my potential, to have a proper grip over the rest of the areas also, in order to improve, or you can say properly plan. If they are looking forward that yes, you are a company secretary, but we want you to lead our group company secretary, or they want me to be HOD of secretarial plus legal. So what they are going to do, they are going to give, or they are going to increase my area of work. Right? So that can be done by lateral and vertical movement of employees. They are sending me to Gujarat, they are sending me to Bangalore. Now you will be taking care of Gujarat and Bangalore also. So they have increased my work. That means my potential will increase. Just like that, earlier I was taking care of only company secretary part. Now I'm taking care of legal also. Earlier you were taking care of accounts only. Now you are taking charge of finance also. So that means the part has been increased. That means earlier you were taking care of accounts only, you had that kind of skill. Now if you will be taking care of finance, your potential is going to increase. That's all. First class is meant to be like for 1 hour, that's sufficient. In next class we are going to have much, the elaborations are going to be reduced. We will reduce those elaborations or the explanations. I can understand, but this is being the first class, so we are explaining too much over here just to have a proper base over the proper command over the basics of the subject. Okay, that's it. We are done for the day. In case if you have any issues, you can please let us know. Bye bye. Take care of yourself.